All right, hey everybody. For those who don't know me, I am Kristen.
Ryan.
And this is Ryan, my husband. So today on Facebook, I made a post in regards to Biden winning the delegates for Michigan. And it got real crazy.
She wanted all the smoke.
Apparently I wanted all the smoke. I was called disrespectful. I understand why, but we'll address that. I was called out of my name. That was addressed to. We'll talk about it.
We don't.
What?
I mean, we don't know if it was meant that way, but exactly. A lot of things are lost in text.
A lot of things are lost in text.
Yeah.
And that's why this thread got so crazy. And like I mentioned, my tone was called into question because when you type something versus when you're speaking something, it can be taken differently. And so because so many different things came out of this one post, religion,
which I don't even know,
like politics, morality, like what I think is morality, and just so many other different things. We just wanted to do a quick video and just address it.
It's just easier.
And nobody can say, oh, that's not what you said and that's what you meant. You took it out of context and this is what you didn't say. So I'm going to read the original post and then I'll read the edited version and we'll go comment by comment. And then I've also taken some notes about some things that I wanted to address in regards to the different posts. So the original post said 8% of boomers have long-term care insurance, but y'all vote against universal health care. 45% of boomers have $0 in savings. 0. 23 expect to get a pension. And I wrote expect in capital letters because that's what you hope you're going to get. That does not mean that they are guaranteed a pension. That is just 23%. That's what I wrote. I said, who has money to take care of y'all? Not me. And jokingly, I said, I hope my parents enjoy their stay at Shady Pines or whatever Medicare covers because y'all can't live with me. I have to pay student loans, healthcare premiums, pay for my child's education, and create generational wealth. # buy boomers. So, as you can tell in my tone,
because I know they hate that.
Buy boomers.
They hate that. So.
A little backstory. I always tell my parents I'm going to put them in Shady Pines. They know this. This is like the running joke of my family. I'm going to put my mom and dad
It's
in
a running
Shady Pines.
joke in a lot of black families, I think, though.
We're going to put y'all in the home.
Come on.
Okay.
Right.
So then, because it became a little...
Wait. That's, are you going to read the
edited version.
Okay. All right.
So then I said, edit. It's not that we don't want to take care of y'all. Most of us financially won't be able to. So again, I'm not saying I can't stand my mom and dad. I don't want y'all living with me. I'm saying, and not just for me, there are millions of people in this country who are going to face that decision one day. Can I take care of my own household, my own spouse, my own children, my own bills, and take care of my parents? For a lot of people, that answer is no. And let's
backtrack real quick.
Okay.
Because let's just set a little bit of a foundation.
Okay.
If we're gonna have a real conversation, we can't, or no one can be that person that's like, oh, that's not me. Well, we're not. Clearly, the numbers indicate that not everybody will be in that situation. So if you're someone that's not going to be in the situation, we applaud that. Cool. But at the same time, realize that the numbers are the numbers. The numbers came from where? You didn't make up the numbers.
No, I did not make up the numbers. They came from an article on CNBC, and I will find a link in.
All right, so we're under the assumption that they did their research.
I did not get this from boomshakalaka.com, and
so the numbers are the numbers. Fact of the matter is, they reflect a dire situation, right?
Right.
And so what her post was indicating was that we are already strapped for cash. And when I say we, I'm talking about millennials, And so, again, don't individualize the argument to fit your situation, because that's when people get sensitive, man. Like, everybody, oh, not me. Okay, well, not you. We're not talking about you.
And this isn't an individual situation. Again, This post is about the current state of our nation. Like, not everybody, the majority. And I just feel like we should care about people.
Well, so the vote, whether or not you meant it or not, sometimes you're in a situation where by voting for one thing, you're not voting for another. And so, and some people will say, well, that's clear. But I don't think that it is, because basically what we're taking the vote as is like, oh, well, screw you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, screw the fact that you got student loan debt. Screw the fact that, household debt is at its highest that it's ever been. Screw the fact that, healthcare is supposed to be affordable because it's supposed to be the Affordable Healthcare Act, but it's pretty unaffordable. Just ask people who tried to go get it and they can't afford it, and then you're being taxed. Penalties.
We have our own story. We will talk about that in the video.
Facts.
So, the first comment that I got was of support. The next comment was from a family member. So the post is out there. So if you want to see it, it's public. I'm personally not gonna say people's names. If you want to go see the post and they choose to keep their post public, that's totally fine. So the first post said, "I'm so sad you feel this way, my dearest daughter. I guess I'll have to stay in this $5 billion house and suffer through with my staff." Now, clearly that came from one of my parents. My response was, if you got a $5 million house, why do I have 6 figures in student loan debt? Why do I have medical bills? And where's my generational wealth? Now, for that comment, I responded wrong. And for that, I'm sorry. Because my parent knows that is a very sensitive topic for me because of the backstory and how the situation came to be. That's family business. I'm not going into that. But
at least not in this video.
No.
We're going to have a podcast. Y'all be on the lookout for that.
Right.
You might go into it then. Put on that name. My bad. Focus.
That response was purely out of anger. So for that, I was wrong, and I'm sorry. Sincere apology in all seriousness. And it goes on from there. So that was my response. And then it goes into... Someone else told me they're sad that I feel this way because it's because of those boomers. In most cases, you have a college degree and you lived in middle class community. You just think you never experienced a riot, never had to eat Focus Hope cheese, and some of us have put aside some savings for what the Bible says are children's children. Now, granted, this is a person who maybe doesn't fit into those majority of the statistics.
That's why I said that in the beginning, everybody's not in the situation, but the numbers indicate that a good majority of people are.
Right. So it's because of boomers that we have degrees. Absolutely right. It is because of boomers that we have degrees.
However,
wait, let me finish.
Okay.
It is because of boomers that we have degrees. Boomers told us, millennials, this is the American dream. This is what you do. You go to college. You get a job. You pay back the loans. Or however your individual family decided to or not decided to pay for your college education. So yes, it is boomers' responsibility or fault or because of them that we have these degrees. Boomers are also the ones who are in charge. They are the elders.
But if you're the reason I have the degree, then you also are the reason that I have the student loan debt.
I was getting to that.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. I sped up a little bit, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
You're the reason that I have this debt. Again, at 17 years old, 16 years old, these are children. You don't let 16 or 17-year-olds drink alcohol, but you let them sign documents that will put them in tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. As the adult in this situation, that does not seem like the most responsible thing to do because the argument will always be, well, your children, we know best. If that's the case, if that's what you believe, then as your children, you led us to make a poor decision. And so now we're suffering because of the guidance that was given. Also, boomers are the ones...
Let me hop in.
Okay.
I don't, again, some people may not know us, but we have a 1-year-old son.
Right.
And so my thing is, I know that one day, if we're blessed enough, he's going to be an adult, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he may want to go to college. So therefore, it's on me as his parent to prepare for that. And if I don't, then I fail. See, it's okay to say that. It's okay to say I failed. People got a emotional attachment to, if I say that word, then my whole life is, no, here was the plan. I didn't succeed, so therefore I failed.
It does not make you a horrible parent. No. It does not make you a horrible person.
I've already said that it's going to be some things that I fail at as a parent. It's going to be some things when he gets older and he may be able to tell me, say, hey, you could have done this better, Dad. I already know that. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to knock everything out of the park. I got my core things that I really want to focus on to make sure that I do very well. and I'm hoping I succeed at those things, but I know some other things that I may not be able to. That's it.
Yeah. The other thing mentioned is that we grew up in middle-class households. Yes. I'll speak for myself personally. Yes, I did. I grew up in a middle-class household.
I did as well.
I cannot think of a time where in my childhood I went hungry or I was concerned about where my next meal was coming from, or if the lights were going to get turned off, or if my neighborhood was safe. I did not have those concerns. And let me say this will come up later in the video. I appreciate the fact, I am grateful for the fact that my parents made a way to provide that lifestyle for me.
That came into play a
right.
lot.
That's what I'm saying. It'll come up more. So I'm not unappreciative of the fact that I grew up in a middle class household. But also, my parents lived in a middle class household as adults. They worked hard to provide that life for themselves.
So you mean if you were never born, they would have still strived to be better, right?
I would hope so.
I think we all would.
I think you do. Yeah. Like I don't know of anybody personally, and there may be some people out there like that, but I don't know any personally who just wake up every morning and go to work and hope to do worse than they did the day
I'm
before.
Different. So but for me, I never want to thank you. I don't need a thank you from my son. You know what I'm saying? Because he's my son. It's my responsibility. You know, to make sure that his life is better than mine.
Right.
And then I'm going to task him with the same thing to make sure his kid's life will be better than what his was. And that's kind of the whole point of this, build generational wealth and to get to a place to where maybe we get the opportunity to say, hey, you know, one of our generations was like Trump. Didn't have to work. Silver spoon. We talk about that all the time, we want that, right?
I want it for myself. I want it for my son. I want it for my descendants. Like, that's fact. Then the next part was we never experienced a riot. Has to eat Focus Hope cheese. Okay, no, I've never experienced a riot. I probably did.
He does the best cheese.
I did eat cheese. She makes the best grilled cheese sandwiches. Facts. But I also was never a slave. I also never lived with the Black Plague. I also never suffered from dysentery. Like,
if these are standards, though, then we losing, me.
Like, you want to be better.
You didn't have government cheese.
Like, and no, I didn't have to.
No, I'm saying if that's the standard, then I mean we losing. Yeah.
So no, I didn't have to deal with those things, but there are other things in my life that I have to deal with and that I have to fight for, so that my son doesn't. I don't want to say suffer the same fate, but so that my son, we always talk about the relay race, so that I don't run a relay race and I'm ready to pass the baton to my son and he starts at the exact same point that I started from. I don't want that for my son. And I don't think anybody wants that for their child. You don't. I'll say this, some do, because I've heard a lot of times, well, if I did it, you can do it.
See, that's the thing. That's a generational, disconnect here. Because our parents are from that generation. When you 18, you get out of my house. And now in this generation, when you 18, you graduate from college, come on back. 20, 23, 24.
20, yep, come home.
Come on home for 2 years. Get your foundation. That's just smart. Right. So that generation was they were a lot of things were taught in their generation that we have to say, hey, we got to forgive that because that's the way y'all grew up.
Right.
You know, so that's just that.
So next comment was Heifer say what now? Now on this comment. Again, tone. We're talking about tone. I am hoping this person said this in jest.
It's a family member. It's a family member.
I don't know. Because, again, this is politics. People can get heated. So I'm hoping, and initially I didn't take it in jest. I'm hoping it was in jest. My husband addressed it in his comment. He stated that my name is Kristen. You can call me Chris. You can call me Jessica. You can call me Jesse.
We can move on from that.
We can move on from that. Okay. So that was part of it. Next. You don't get a pension, you earn a pension.
Facts.
You do. If you work.
That was from a family member also.
Yeah.
That not to get too much backstory, worked for the city.
Yeah.
And basically what he was saying was, we were speaking and we said, you were given a pension.
Yeah.
But no, okay, you earn a pension. However, pensions don't really exist anymore. For our generation, another thing that we inherited. Yay.
As of 2017, only 16% of Fortune 500 companies offer pensions.
That's another number.
That's a statistic.
That's a fact, right?
I did not just make that up. I did not go bow down to the 8-pound, 6-ounce baby Jesus and pull that out of my derriere. I'm just saying that's a fact. Then my husband posted his response. My homegirl came through with, you better come support your wife. Amen. Then I got another one. Not this boomer. See, not everybody. I did my homework. And you know who I voted for, but I get it. Sigh. Okay, so again, not everybody. Then here comes my Jesus response. Now, I have family members who are deeply rooted in their faith.
We both do. Yeah, on both sides.
Like reverend doctors, pastors, like all of that. So again,
so we knew.
We're not disrespecting anybody's faith. That is what they choose to believe. That is absolutely fine. So here's a response. You are so blessed. You are happily married to the person you wanted. You have a healthy baby. You have good health and are well educated. You have parents who love you and are in your life. They gave you more than most Black children in America receive. The best gift they gave you was introducing you to Jesus. If that Jesus is not enough, then go to the Father and ask why. He too loves you unconditionally. So my response was, what does that have to do with anything?
It's hard when they bring Jesus and God into it. It's like,
no disrespect to what she said. Everything she said was fact. I am married to the person I wanted to marry. I do have a son who is absolutely healthy.
You want a Michael B. Jordan. You lying. Don't you find?
Hi, Michael. So
don't let me catch you on the street.
So I do have my health. Almost didn't because, healthcare. But as of now, I do have my this leg. We're gonna talk about that more too.
You got your health.
I got my health. I have both of my parents in my life. And yes, they did give me more than most Black children receive in America.
So there are some people out there worse off than us. I mean, but that's the argument that everybody can always make.
Everything she said was true.
Yeah.
Yes, I would say I've received more than children in America. It has, again, this comes up a whole lot. This post had nothing to do with race. I don't care if you're Black, white, Indian, Chinese. It doesn't matter about this post. This post is based in statistics and facts about us as a nation.
Mm-hmm. And it's more so generational than it is racial. Yeah.
So then I said, what does that have to do with anything? Your comment has nothing to do with the facts stated in my post. My post isn't about my parents or my upbringing. It is about the future of this nation. And that's what it is. If it was about my parents, I would have mentioned specifically my parents in a serious manner and dove into family business, which I did not. It had nothing to do with my upbringing because my upbringing has nothing to do with the fact that 8% of boomers have long-term care insurance. That has nothing to do with me growing up in Southfield, Michigan. Absolutely nothing. And then it's about the future of this nation, period. That's what the post was about. And our religion's being brought into it. Then the response was, Jesus has everything to do with your post. Just think about it. Oh, and reread your post about your parents not living with you. I'm just, from the person who posted that, that's not their current status, right? Okay. As far as like a parent living with them. For the reasons that we're talking about. Jesus holds our future in his hands. Let's be grateful for things being as well as they are for now. Now, when I read this, at first I was like, Jesus has nothing to do with my post. Then I was like, wait a minute. If we're talking about the same Jesus, the one that I grew up knowing. Now, granted, I do not attend church right now. That's for my own personal reasons. We'll discuss that in a later post. But
we got our own podcast.
Okay.
We got to plug.
But the Jesus that I grew up learning about was all about helping everybody, especially what we consider the lowest among us. So if that's the Jesus that we're talking about, wouldn't Jesus say, yeah, everybody does deserve to go to the doctor? Nobody should have to choose between food and medicine. There are people's parents, grandparents, there are children eating cat food because they cannot afford food, or they have to choose between their food and their medicine. Like, is that the Jesus you guys are talking about? Because I don't think he would be very happy with the way we're running this nation.
But as we said, just now it is turning into.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but if you bring it up, and
we were talking about debt, and student loans, and I made the comment on there, make the same one. Sally Mae call. I can't say, hey, well, the scriptures say they gonna stop listening. They want their money, debit or credit. Like that's what they want to know. And well, debit because you can't pay credit.
Can't pay on credit. And when you go to the doctor's office, she don't want to hear about the riots. She don't want to hear about how your ancestors.
Card. That's what they want.
They want your insurance card.
Yeah. So I get it.
You're bringing in emotions into a conversation that was solely based on fact. But if you're going to bring the emotions in, then do that. And that's fine. But I'm going to have a rebuttal to your argument. So again, you have a person.
And we're allowed to do that. That's another thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to put my age out there. You don't have to. I'm 36.
I'm 34.
So, I mean, we're not disrespecting by having an opinion.
Right.
Now, I've been very opinionated since I was knee-high. So, my parents will attest to that. However, we're not disrespecting our elder family members or our elder friends or the family, whatever the case may be, by having an opinion. Our tone is very, hey, we're having a conversation. This is how we're feeling. This is how other people in the country are from my generation may also be feeling. And I mean, I think some people, they grew up in a way where it's like you can't say anything back to the older generation. I never subscribe to that. You have an opinion, I have an opinion, and I think it can be, it can be said out loud in a respectful way.
Yeah.
And you can have an open dialogue.
Open dialogue, yeah.
You like that?
Yeah,
I did that.
You did that. So yeah, that was just my response to Jesus, because if you feel like he is in everything, if that is your personal belief, then I would challenge you to just look around in the current state of our nation. And like you said, what would Jesus do? Would he be okay with companies polluting our water? Would he be okay with children starving? Will he be cool, because you know how America loves our vets, will he be cool with veterans on the street homeless, suffering from mental illness? So if you're going to bring Jesus into the conversation, then you have to look at your morality. And does your religion and your morality line up with the facts and what is happening in this nation? If the answer is no, then we need to go back and do some soul searching and figure out how to fix it, which is what we feel Bernie is trying to do. Does he have all the answers? Probably not. But
what politician ever had all the answers?
But who has all the answers? The point is, he's trying to make a difference. Because we've done things the same way for so long, and it's not getting better.
No, I mean,
it's getting worse.
The question is, well, how is he going to pay for it? Oh, man.
So here's my analogy. As a parent, if there is something that I want from my child, you will make sacrifices. You will rework your budget to make sure your child has it. I've seen people do it to where they go without, maybe you don't get your hair done, or you don't go on that trip, or whatever is that thing that you wanted. If it's something that you want more for your child to make their life better, you do it. So I would say the same thing. We found some money to put toward the wall.
The wars, auto bailout.
We found money.
Wall Street bailout.
Trump been going to Mar-a-Lago like every other weekend.
So it seems to me that whenever we needed to find money, we found it.
Mm-hmm.
But when we're saying, hey, a whole generation is underwater, they have a ton of debt keeping them from moving forward in life, all of a sudden we're worried about how we're going to pay for it. It doesn't add up. And here I am with a, of all things, political science degree. Right. So I know a little bit about the subject. I don't claim to be, the authority, but I know a little bit. Yeah. And so from my knowledge, we've always pulled through and always found a way to pay for the things that we wanted to, which leads me to believe y'all don't want to pay for it. So what to us this vote says is, screw your generation, y'all on your own. I'm protecting my pension. I'm protecting what I got. And as a father, what I got is what my son gonna have.
Right.
So protecting me is protecting him, and vice versa. So for me, I'm like, hey, my son is straddled with student loan debt. My son is straddled with a healthcare system that's not working in his favor. Let me make this vote, because here I am, and again, this is my personal opinion. In my 30s, in my 20s, my vote is going to be selfish. It's going to be for me now because I'm trying to keep the money in my pocket because I can make that money grow. I got time. But as I get into my late 40s and 50s, I start to think about my vote will be for the next generation. Why? Because facts are facts. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We ain't got that much longer left at that time. You know, it's like, you know, and that's just facts. It's not saying like I'm trying to kill off the, you know, generation.
Right.
I work from a factual standpoint, and that's all I know how to do. That's who I am. Right. So the fact of the matter is, at an older age, you got less time ahead of you than you do behind you. Did I say that right?
Yes, you said it right.
So
again, we're not trying to get rid of the boomers. We don't want y'all to just fall off into the sunset and go to Shady Pines and just be there because we don't care about you. But the fact of the matter is, based on the numbers and how much boomers have saved and how much you have in long-term care insurance, coupled with the fact that our generation has a ton of student debt and just consumer debt, if things keep going the way they're going, we're going to have to continue to work 2 and 3 jobs just to make ends meet for our household. That means that if I'm just trying to make the ends meet for my household and you don't have long-term care insurance, and let's say you are disabled or you suffer from Alzheimer's, you can't stay in my house, not because I don't love you or not because I don't care about you, but because I can't afford it.
And when I say we, I know I'm saying when we say we,
right,
we're not talking about us. We're talking about the generation. Again, don't individualize it. Let the spirit move you. But we're not talking about us. We're not talking about you. We're talking about what the numbers say in general. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So we won't be able to afford it. We won't be able to afford a nurse to come in and be with you all day long and all night. Because as of right now, it's expensive.
Yeah, we know those numbers personally.
We know those numbers, and I don't see anybody saying, all right, well, let's raise the cost of minimum wage without a fight. Of course, stuff comes with it, but everything is increasing except our salaries. So if things become more expensive and our salaries don't, something's going to have to give.
And Democrats, traditional old school Democrats, y'all want that free stuff. But isn't that what the Democratic Party is about? Because they keen on keeping welfare, the free stuff. But all of a sudden now y'all want to label it free stuff. I just don't get it. I don't.
And it's not free. If you're telling me I have to pay a little bit more in taxes so that I have a peace of mind that when my parents do become 75, 80, hopefully 90, I don't have to worry about, hey, does mom and dad have enough money for food, or can I afford for, Nurse Johnson to watch them, or can I afford to have them live with me? Can I afford to put them in a space, because I wouldn't have to worry about that because of healthcare, because I don't mind paying it out of my taxes. And so
how do you pay for it? And they say because by all means they can't do a tax on the middle class. Well, one way or another, we're gonna pay for it anyway.
Right.
That's it.
We're going to pay for it.
No matter what happened. So either on our terms, or we just gonna let things play out and come to find out either it's gonna be a bailout that's gonna have to happen, or we just gonna go through what we got to go through where we had a chance to not do that, and that's what the sad part is.
Yeah. So again, Post wasn't about religion. It wasn't about upbringing. It was just about the facts and the state of this country. And it's crazy because when it comes to religion and politics and family, emotions get involved, and I get it. But at this junction that we're in our nation, we need to look at the facts. We need to look at the budget and figure out where the money's going and how can we divert it to other places. Because maybe somebody can explain to me. Again, I am not a politician. I am not a political science major, but I do know how to read and interpret data. History major, reading and interpreting data. Retired teacher, reading and interpreting data. Maybe y'all can tell me, like, how are other developed nations able to afford universal health care and we can't, but we're the wealthiest nation? How are other nations able to afford free college or free public college for everybody, but we can't? If you know the answer, if you are a politician and you can break me down a budget and tell me how these other countries are doing it and why we can't do it, please let me know. I am all about learning and finding answers. But if the answer is just, well, we just ain't got it,
And Joe Biden had a lot of policies that nobody asked how he gonna pay for it. Nobody asked any questions. You know why? Because he was Obama's VP. So,
and also, if
that's all it took to get your vote.
Yeah, and if you chose to vote for Biden, or if you are a Biden supporter, I would like to know why. Like, what policies does he have that made you say that's the candidate for me?
How you gonna pay for it?
How you gonna pay for
I mean,
it?
hell, we gonna keep asking people, well, how you gonna pay for it? You don't know.
So
nobody knows.
If that's your guy and you have facts, I would love to hear them. I'm all about numbers. This is not my personal opinion. Does this affect me directly on both ends? Like my parents, it's affecting my grandparent. It's going to affect my parents. It's affecting me now. If it continues this way, it's going to affect my son. Like, I don't want him to have debt going into college. I don't want it to become a situation where we're older and now he has to figure out how to take care of us because we didn't make decisions either personally or as a nation to make sure that that's not an issue. And I feel like we can do it.
See, and for me, again, this is not an individual thing because to me, I ain't gonna let it happen. I'm just gonna tell you straight up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. However, it ain't about us. I'm talking about those people who unfortunately not in that mind space and fall into that situation in that category. You know, that's him right now. He's like, yeah.
Like, y'all done. I'm done with y'all.
Yeah, so, I mean, it was more to talk about, man, but, you know, we can just kind of leave it.
What else are we talk about?
I mean, you know me, I can go on. Forever.
Yeah, I think we pretty much touched on everything that I wanted to say as far as, like, this whole topic goes.
Let's call it a wrap.
Oh, no, the other thing we didn't talk about.
What's that?
So, another post was, I said, why can't most boomers, again, most, say, hey, y'all, we messed up. And we're sorry. How can we fix it? And then the backlash was, oh, well, because millennials, y'all been here forever. Y'all got all the answers. Well, y'all been here longer, and you guys have done an amazing job with the country. No, you haven't.
Yeah.
Not saying
my reply was, maybe we give them 30 more years. That's if the Earth survived. Like, right. But then again, that's propaganda. I'm sorry. That's not real.
So my thing is, maybe, no, we don't have all the answers. But we are willing to try because we see how it is going to affect boomers, millennials, and the generation under us. We see what is coming.
Shout out to the boomers that did vote for,
yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because let's not forget that. That did happen. I mean, that's not everybody, you know.
It wasn't everybody.
You know, and your vote is your vote. You know what I'm saying? And a family member of mine made a good point. And, you know, maybe they did see Biden as the choice for the future. I don't see how that's their choice in the future, but your vote is your vote.
Your vote is your vote. If you would like to enlighten us on why you chose it, again, leave a comment. I would like to learn more about a different candidate. That's fine. So yeah, no, we don't have all the answers. And my response was, we don't have all the answers, but we do have ideas to fix the mistakes that your generation made. Just because you're older doesn't mean you're not wrong, and it doesn't mean you don't owe us an apology. And if history is any indicator, it's the youth that fight for and make progress happen. So, to break that down, just because boomers are older, and this is, I think, a generational thing and how they were taught, it's like you don't owe us an apology. Or you don't owe anybody who's younger than you an apology. Hold on, I'm about to pause and then, come back. So, stop. So, many boomers may feel as though you don't owe us an apology for what you did wrong. But here's my argument to that. If I chastise my son, yell at him, spank him, whatever I do, and I find out it's for a reason that he didn't do it, I was wrong. I owe him an apology because I was wrong. Because I'm his mother doesn't give me the right to treat him less than. Because boomers are older, it doesn't give you the right to treat us less than. If you were wrong, say that you were wrong, apologize for it, and work with us to figure out how to fix it and make it better.
Or at least just get out of our way. But
I wasn't going
that far. I'm a little bit more raw with mine. She gonna go out the way. Look, you know what I'm saying?
I wasn't gonna say that, but no, I will. Yeah, I know you feel that way, but there were mistakes made. Were y'all absolutely perfect? No. Were y'all the worst thing ever to populate the earth?
No, it's just so many of y'all. So many of y'all. So
sorry.
Yeah, I was just saying, I did the math when I learned about the baby boomer generation in school, my mind automatically goes to the future. I'm like, oh, that's a lot of them, huh? That's cool. But wait, they all gonna get old at one point. What systems would that begin to stress? So I thought about it then.
Right.
So here I am, 36, still thinking about it, still dealing with it. So if I saw it, why didn't everybody else? And why don't some of you guys still right now?
Yeah. So again, that wasn't because we just feel like we got all the answers, but a lot of mistakes were made in your generation. Not you as individual people, as a collective, mistakes were made.
But if the spirit move you and you think we're talking to you, then you probably did something wrong in your life.
And that's okay. We all make mistakes. Just own up to them. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure, like most millennials, we're like open to a conversation. Talk to us. Say, okay, like, where do y'all feel we messed up? We'll A, B, C, D, E. That's what y'all messed up on. How can we fix it? Da 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 da. All right, let's make it happen. Like I just don't like some topics that we're having conversations about, like the environment. Why is that a discussion? What? Unless y'all know of another planet that we can move to real quick, and I mean real quick. Why are we having an argument about how to protect the environment? I ain't getting no one of those spaceships. You seen my man? He trying to they keep blowing up. Like I'm not getting on that. I don't understand why. Like, why is that a discussion? And then recently it was a conversation about children having food in school. They're children.
We going into everything right now.
I'm just saying, like, real quick, because we talking about the universal everything.
The universal everything. The universal
everything.
Okay, we doing it. Universal everything.
Like, we're talking about children who we, the adults, not boomers, adults, require to go to school. But then, if their parent, not the child themselves, can't afford to pay for food, we gonna let them starve? They're children. It's our responsibility to take care of them. It is our responsibility to figure out how to make it happen.
Well, don't tax the middle class to do it. That's what they were saying. I don't understand.
Maybe if Amazon... I'm going to tell you right now, I love Amazon, okay? But maybe if Amazon pays some taxes, just throwing ideas out there. Maybe. Where can we find some money? Let's just look under the couch cushions.
I pay more taxes than Amazon every single year. Now, I ain't hating the game.
Right.
But look, my vote is an unselfish one. Can I say, first of all, y'all, I'm into trying to invest my money, so Bernie Sanders wanted to raise capital gains. I'll take the hit. I'll take the hit because overall what you're trying to do is good for the country and good for future generations and my generation.
Right.
But, and I'm thinking about it now, I could go to the other side just as easy and say, hey, I don't care about nothing else but take my money. And in which case, some of y'all hardcore Democrats know, your checks and your money looking real good under Trump.
Just saying.
Just saying.
But yeah, it's not about us as individuals. It's about us as a nation. And numbers. If the 99% fall, it's going to be total chaos. So, not telling you who to vote for. This whole thing started with a post. This whole thing started with a post about facts, about a whole generation not being able to take care of their parents. And a generation of parents not being able to take care of themselves, and it turned into this whole ridiculousness that had nothing to do with the topic at hand. And it was just easier to do this video versus sit there and type and respond to everybody individually.
Yeah, because he ain't gonna let us sit there and type. The little one, he ain't gonna give us the time. He's been pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it's about that time. So
again, as we mentioned before, we are doing a YouTube channel
called
Open Dialogue.
Which is why I brought y'all see earlier. Okay.
Yes. Right. So we'll post this on YouTube eventually. We'll get the page set up, and we hope we clear some things up, and we hope we gave you some stuff to look into, some information to share. So y'all have a good night.
Okay, Boomer.
Oh wait! My meme.
What's that?
My meme that I made. That was disrespectful.
Oh man, we're not gonna cut it right. That was the perfect look.
I know it was, but we're gonna go back real quick. Hold on, because I gotta show this. This is hilarious. Okay, so I hope y'all can see this. I made this little meme. And of course, the millennial is the woman and the boomers are in the wheelchair. Now, we're not going to throw y'all. It was just a joke. It was funny. It's supposed to be funny. There are plenty of memes about millennials.
A lot of them.
Being shown in a negative light compared to boomers. It's a joke. Okay, now do your outro.
Okay, boomer.
Bye, guys.